Welcome to Keep Sweet, the Positive World podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Gonzalez, and I'm excited to bring you guys today's episode. We are still going strong in this pandemic world that we are living in. But I'm hopeful that things are starting to turn around. Even in New York here, we just had a new group of the population be eligible for the vaccine. So hopefully we will see, the shut-in lockdown lifestyle come to an end here. I'm hopeful. Also on today's episode, I have a really cool interview with one of my very dear friends and an amazing, talented actress. We talk about how she has been managing the pandemic life and also the acting industry, and hopefully some good things that we see on the horizon. So stay tuned for that. I'm very excited. But for today's good news story, I want to bring you guys the story of Jonathan the tortoise. For those of you who don't know, my very favorite animal is the turtle. I just really identify with someone needing to wear their armor everywhere and needing to house themselves in it to protect them from the world. So I love that for them. Jonathan the tortoise is famous because he is the oldest living known land animal at 189 years old, which is insane. He's almost been alive for 2 centuries. I don't even know how long tortoises live, but that is very long. He is thought to have been hatched in 1832. Wow. And he currently resides on the island of St. Helena, which is a British overseas territory in South Atlantic Ocean. So if you want to go to visit him, he's, just chilling on the island of St. Helena. I don't even know if you can go visit him. If you can, you better believe I will try. So yeah, that is today's good news story. Go check out Jonathan the tortoise. He looks cute in his little photo. He looks cute. So, all right. And without further ado, let's go check out that interview. Hey everyone, I am excited for today's guest. She is an incredible actress, having been seen on TV and off-Broadway at the Public Theater and MCC, and I had the incredible opportunity to do some Shakespeare with her in off-Broadway's Midsummer A Banquet, #Drama Desk nominated. She can do it all, folks. Know her name. And please welcome to the podcast, Loren F. Walker. Hi, Loren.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. This is really a privilege. I feel very honored.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I love you so much. You are such an amazing talent and such an amazing soul, and you just make me smile. And so I'm really glad that you are here.
You make me smile too. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So first, how are you been? How are you? How are you doing? We're in a crazy time right now. Everyone knows, but you, I think, are doing pretty well.
Yeah. I'm very grateful to still be working in this crazy time. It's nothing less than a blessing. But beyond that, let's see, the everyday, day to day, beneath the surface, I'm hanging in there. I'm trying to check into gratitude. I'm trying to keep it all together and not let maybe sad days or uncertain days affect my month or my week.
Sure.
So just trying to take it one day at a time, honestly.
That is all we can do right now. I hear that so hard because I'm in that exact same boat. Especially giving you that time to kind of just be in that downtime a little bit and acknowledge that, you are feeling down, but not letting it fester is definitely something I've had to learn to do this year.
Yes, most definitely. It's just been so much craziness. Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, oh, that's right. We are in a dramatic sci-fi movie right now. We are living in a dramatic sci-fi movie. This is insane.
Yeah.
So there are times when I acknowledge it and I'm just like, oh, okay, we're just in this thing. And then sometimes bliss takes me away and I don't have to think about it so much.
Yeah, I love it. So I wanted to ask, because I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but what drew you to acting when you were younger? What made you get involved? I love hearing where people got bit by the bug.
So, oh goodness. If I'm going to be completely honest, I remember being a kid watching Harry Potter. And I was always I was a very goofy kid, very silly, very clumsy, and I always felt awkward in no matter what space I went into, whether it was school or sometimes even home. My mom is very loving, so she's always accepted my awkwardness. But I think acting, especially watching Harry Potter and seeing kids who are also awkward and strange and, just outcast from society, but seeing them have like these special abilities. I don't know. I just remember watching it, this Black kid in the hood of DC watching Harry Potter, and I'm sitting in the living room, doing all the accents because I think it is just the coolest thing in the world. And I said, oh, if only I had something special about me, then, maybe I could be up there. Maybe I can be in that screen. And then as a Black kid watching Harry Potter, not seeing any Black kids in it except for that one guy. Mm-hmm. It was just like, I can do this. Like, I need to do this. So that is like my earliest memory with like developing a curiosity with acting. But beyond that, I went to an arts high school called Duke Ellington School of the Arts. And that is the place where I really learned what it meant to be an artist, whose shoulders I stand on, who's come before me. And also I had to ask myself, what do I want to contribute to this thing? It's like, it's a pretty thing to get up there on TV and all this stuff or get on stage, but I had to ask myself and really develop a sense of artistic integrity about acting. So that's my second, that's my second kind of stage in development. And as I've grown, something that I have learned is that unlike like a dancer or unlike an instrumentalist or, even a visual artist, our instruments are our complete emotional, mental, and physical beings. And it is a very complex art form. And I think that is so sexy. I think it is so incredibly sexy to like have the ability to be so aware of my instrument and know when working with a character or working with a script of knowing how much I can lend myself or how much I need to pull from another place in me, like knowing that I have this ability to kind of transform or cater to a script or just morph into this being. I think that is the sexiest thing in the world. I think good acting is the sexiest thing in the world.
Oh yes.
So that's where it came from. Harry Potter, going to an art school, developing a sense of artistic integrity, and then also just continuously being infatuated with the art form. That is it.
That is amazing. And I love every bit of that. Like, especially touching on how you really do have to use every little bit of your body and getting to like it. That is so hard. And I love that in the study of the craft, like you just have to keep working on it because like it takes so much energy and focus and everything to do that day in and day out. I love that. Another reason why I wanted you on this podcast is because in addition to, your amazing talent, you also just have such a really great mindset that you share on Instagram a lot that I have to say has been keeping me inspired at times when I maybe feel a little like I need a little bit more inspiration. And I'm absolutely infatuated with this mindset you have of, keeping the self-confidence and self-belief in yourself. And I just want to talk a little bit about like where that comes from and how you go about sharing that with the world.
Okay. So something interesting about me is growing up, my mother cut the word can't out of the dictionary. So that word was completely banned from our house. I could not say the word can't.
Wow.
And as a Black woman, not having that word to use or not accepting that reality sometimes, to be honest. So sometimes it is a reality where, you just can't, but I just I don't accept it. So that's one thing that has encouraged me to constantly go after what I want. And in the midst of like feeling discouraged, because doubt comes up all the time. Like I know what it's like to be like, I don't think I can do this, or I'm not worthy of this, or these people don't think this of me. And it just gets to a point where it gets so cluttered. It gets so cluttered. If you constantly are just sitting around and you're thinking about what other people are thinking about you or thinking about all the things that are off limits to you, or all the things that you're not good at or that you're not worthy of. That is just complete baloney and cheese. And I don't believe that I was meant to live like that. I believe I was meant to live like the 7-year-old Lo who didn't even know what can't meant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's something that has constantly inspired me. And just I don't know, it's to be an actor, you got to be somewhat crazy in a sense. But in addition to being crazy, you have to be someone who has a strong sense of faith, because we face rejection all the time. Somebody's always telling us, you know, what's possible for us, or sometimes it feels like we have to wait on people to give us permission to create or to be the artist that we really want to be. And as I'm growing, I'm learning that I am completely responsible for myself as an artist. I'm completely responsible for how I feel, and I'm completely responsible for the thoughts that I allow to live within me. I hope I'm explaining this clearly, but like I kind of just I have to have this mindset, because if I don't, then where am I going to be? You know, yeah. It's like, if I don't maintain the fact that, you know what, I can do this because I'm a boss and I'm willing to work at it. And no matter what anybody says, I know I'm going to get where I want to get, because I'm kind, I'm compassionate, I'm talented, I'm hardworking. And all those things combined don't equal up to failure, baby. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't not work like that. So it's like, despite when fear or doubt or any of these things come up, I'm always concrete in the fact that you are meant for this. This is the thing that you wake up thinking about, the thing you go to sleep thinking about. This is going to be your whole life. This is your most intimate lover. Like, this is the one. Like, I'm not going to let anything take me away from that. Like, and then I also have to think about the fact that, like, my mom had me at a very young age, and she had every reason. I mean, she was 16, homeless at the time. Like, she had every reason not to give birth to me, but she still chose to, you know, thankfully her having that choice, you know. But I always think, like, wow, I didn't have to be here. My life could have taken so many different turns, but somehow I'm still here. And I don't think that's by mistake. So I have to allow myself to take up space in certain areas, and to continue to be confident, and to just stand in that belief that I'm worthy, and also share that, because, you know, when you create that kind of like source of love and positivity within yourself, it leaks in the same way a negative mindset leaks from a person. Positive mindsets and love leaks from people, and it
100%,
you know, it infects the community. So
no, for sure. And like, I mean, that's like what I always try and maybe like strive to do as well, is like, I mean, the alternative is just to leak negativity, and that doesn't do anybody any good. And so it's not quite a fake it till you make it, because like, I don't want to include like toxic positivity, but the more that I guess like meditate and manifest it in myself to be able to share with others, the more it actually really does manifest in myself, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. That makes complete sense. So something else that has been like sticking with me lately is this idea of taking up space. I've been writing a lot lately. Like, I'm working on a solo show, and I've been trying to like strip down to the truth, because, you know, when you're writing, sometimes you have that layer of fluff that just takes time to kind of dig out. You know, you get to the root of it. And something that I realized, even in growing up, depending on what spaces I was in, especially during my teenage years, something I realized is that I used to try and shrink myself, whether it meant shrinking myself physically or shrinking myself energetically. And it didn't help. And now as I'm growing up, I'm realizing that I have to take up space. So like manifesting and then walking in that energy, because I've been thinking about, okay, I'm a star, period. That's just the way it goes.
Yes.
I don't care how much money I have in my bank account. I don't care how many followers I have on Instagram. Baby, I'm a star, and I walk with that energy. Like, it doesn't matter where I go, people are going to know. That's just what it is. And a star for all the right reasons, not, you know, because of superfluous, superficial stuff, you know? So like, walking in that energy, manifesting it for yourself, also doing the work, which is the most important part.
100%.
Like doing the work, speaking positively over yourself, surrounding yourself with people who are loving and who are also, healing themselves in those ways. Like that right there will change the game. And it can be very lonely, because even for me right now, I've been feeling like I'm in this stage of solitude where I'm having to deal with myself and having to be honest and not foster toxic positivity, right?
Yeah.
Because the truth is, shit comes up. Yeah. Things happen, and you have to like sit with them, and you have to work them out, and you have to find your way through them and acknowledge them. And I think that when you're able to acknowledge your truth and able to acknowledge the ugly things and still find gratitude and still turn them into something worthy and something that is worthwhile, I think that is very helpful to yourself and everyone around you.
So, you talk about, it's so important to manifest this like self-love and this self-positivity and self-worth within yourself, which of course it 100% is. So I'm wondering, it's, a lot easier said than done. So I'm wondering for you, do you have any like tips or tricks or meditations or something that you do to help manifest that, especially on days when it's really hard, when you're up against some shit and you're needing that?
Yes. Ooh, something that helps me. This is going to sound so insane. Maybe not.
No, maybe not.
There's somebody that's going to understand me. Sometimes I have to play the loudest, most ratchet music on my playlist, get cute for myself, and dance my life away in my room. That turns my mood around all of the time. Like being able to just go ham and just like live, express myself physically. It just kind of takes me out of my head and puts me into my body, and it gives me a whole different appreciation for my body, because it's like, man, I can move, like, so that's one way.
That's not insane at all.
Right? For some people, it may be dancing. Some people, it may be working out, whatever kind of gets you in touch with like the here and now, just to be very present. Because I've learned that like whenever depression or anxiety comes up, it's like either you're thinking about the past or you're thinking about the future. But if you're present and right now, that's probably the best place to be.
Oh, I love that. So I would love to talk to you a little bit about, your acting career, which is amazing. I'm in love. Especially how you're staying busy and productive in the pandemic, where like I have just like kind of cut off that world for a little while. I'm ramping back up to get back out there, which I'm excited about. One thing I really want to talk to you about is the Shakespeare scene in theater, because it's something that I have been thinking about a lot, about how I have kind of conflicted views. This year, the theater, while it's been shut down, has been having to reckon with its systemic racism problem, which is there and present. And I have myself been kind of having conflicting feelings over what I feel about the Shakespeare scene, over whether I felt like I have been better treated or not treated being a Latino actor. So I would love to ask you for some of your thoughts as a Black actress in that space. Shakespeare is usually associated with, the wealthy, the upper class, the educated white people, which we know can be problematic and has been. But on the other hand, because these plays are so old and because they are public domain, I feel like a lot of directors and artists feel that they can have more freedom to cast non-traditionally. So I do feel like oftentimes those are some of the only plays where directors are willing to take risks to cast people who are non-traditionally seen in those roles, especially racially. I'm wondering like which side of the coin of those feelings have you most often found yourself in when it comes to the Shakespeare scene?
Oof. I have found myself on both sides of the coin.
Sure.
I found myself being in a Shakespeare play, being the token for the production, because I was the only Black person. And because, to be honest, in the year 2019, 2020, 2021, seeing Black people do Shakespeare is exciting to certain people. It's like, oh my God, like diversity, woo. But it's not nice if I'm the only one there, or if I'm the token, that's not okay. That's strange. It's very strange. And I've also felt whereas I got cast in something and because there was more room to play and it was easier for people to suspend their disbelief, that, oh yeah, she's a queen, she can be Black, but if it were a modern day play, it would not have gone that way.
100%.
So I find myself on both sides of the coin. This industry, like many industries in America, is problematic. I mean, it just is. Anything that has
like
to
every
do,
industry.
like every industry in America, almost the world, is problematic. And I'm tired. I'm an artist. I just want to act. I just want to do the job, but I also want to, and I deserve to be treated fairly. We all deserve to be treated fairly. We deserve to go into productions, even Shakespeare productions where there are all backgrounds, working and playing and producing and directing and on stage and on lighting, because it goes deeper than just what we see, than just the stage. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been involved in a production where the whole crew was white. Like, there are no Black, technical designers out there. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a weird place sometimes. And I've found that I've almost had to like separate myself from it a little bit, in the sense of just focusing on my work, or being very very specific in what productions I choose to be involved in. I'm involved in a production of Pericles right now with the Connecticut University of Connecticut Repertory Theater, and something that I love about working on this production is that it's so diverse. The director is of color. I mean, we have people from all different backgrounds, whether they be Asian or, African American or of African descent. I mean, all backgrounds, Caucasian, it doesn't matter. And I think that's beautiful because we all have something very unique to contribute.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to see in theater. I want to see more color. I want to see more life brought to it.
Please.
So yeah, I find myself on both sides of the coin though.
Sure.
And I don't know.
And a follow-up question to that, just because I'm curious, like I often find myself on both sides of that coin as well, but sometimes it kind of flip-flops with like the same production, like kind of me feeling like, is this, like, I'm happy of what's being done if anything is being done, but then again, I'm like conflicted because I feel like it's not enough, and it kind of goes flip-floppy a little bit. So I'm just excited for that to not happen so much.
And I think that 2020 was a very important year because it was a year where a lot of white people could no longer deny their racism. They can't deny it. If you look around in your board meeting or your production room or your production team and you see that there are only white people sitting around the table, then there is a problem. If you look at your cast and all of your characters, all your actors, your DP, everybody, if it's all white, you have a problem. Now you have to sit and smell yourself. And at this point, it's not even just that, oh, you see it, everybody sees it. That, shout out to We See You, White American Theater, it's like, we see you, we see how you're moving, we see who you're casting, we see who you're choosing. And it's not just because they're your buddies. It's because those are the people that you're comfortable with, your ideals are comfortable with, the talk or the lingo that you have, you're comfortable with. But I'm sure if there were people of color in that room, you would change the way you spoke. You would change the things you said. And, it's 2020 really brought a sense of awareness to this industry that was necessary and that I hope continues to linger.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of that, I do think that this year is a turning point and that we are starting to see some really, really great real change and not just like performative. So I'm wondering from you, what, as we move forward and as the industry starts to hopefully dismantle this problem, I'm wondering what real changes you have seen or are on the horizon that you are hopeful for.
So recently I got cast in a project, and
you better humble brag, #brag, not even a humble brag.
Yes, I got cast in a project, and a part of the description for my character was a beautiful Black woman. And typically in this industry, that credit has not been given to women who are who have darker skin or women who have fuller bodies. And I felt very honored to be like, oh, I mean, because granted, I am a beautiful Black woman, but for a director or for a casting team to look and be like, oh yeah, this is that girl, because she is the girl, I am the girl, you know. But for a casting team to be like, yeah, this is the girl, it's like, okay, y'all are waking up a bit, because typically, you know, this industry has so much racism in addition to colorism, all these different elements that hold people back, right? So typically that role would have been cast, if it was a beautiful Black girl, she would have had lighter skin or a looser curl texture or a slimmer body. Who knows what she would have looked like, but she wouldn't have looked like me in the past. And even upon entering the set, I mean, everyone from costume to makeup were like, oh my goodness, we are so glad you're here, because they don't ever give us a chance to get up there and shine. So it's not, I realized it wasn't even just me who felt that way, but going into an environment with real, beautiful Black women who saw that and we're on the other side of that. And they were like, oh my goodness, we're so happy that you're here. Yes, yes, yes. So that is a positive change that I've seen. Something I would like to continue to see. I would like to see more Black and brown people telling Black and brown stories. Because a lot of times people do biopics and things like that about Black artists, because we are the origin. I mean, if you think about blues and, you know, jazz, all these different art forms have stemmed from Black creativity. But a lot of times when these stories are told, it is through the guise of white artists. And I'm not saying that we can't have a collaborative process, but I think certain things are important to keep, just for authenticity purposes, to keep in, you know what I mean, to keep in the house. If that makes sense. So that is something I would like to, and continue diversity in casting, and things like that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. I am cautiously hopeful. I'm more hopeful than I have been in a long time. So I'm so excited that you're already not only seeing it, but like actually experiencing it in your career, like on a job. That is incredible. I'm so happy. And it's not enough. So much more needs to happen. And
it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming, because the truth is, we are not the last generation.
No.
We are so different, because if they don't give it to us, we're taking it. We're creating it. We're making it. It doesn't, in my mind, it does not matter. I always have to remember that before I'm an actor, I'm an artist, and I create. So whenever there is a lack of something, I am there to fill the void with my art, with my creativity, with my community, finding different ways to provide where there's, you know, where we don't have something. So I always have to remember that. It's like, we aren't the last generation, baby. We're not leaving. We're not going anywhere. All this pressure, all these feet on your necks, it's staying there. You know, so good things are coming. And I constantly say that good things are coming.
Yes. I love it. I feel so energized and healed and everything. And I hope everyone listening does too. That is just what Loren F. Walker does. So thank you so much for joining us today, Loren, and being here and being a part of this podcast. What's up for you? Anything you want to plug? What's going on?
Like I said, I'm in a production of Pericles, Prince of Tyre, at the University of Connecticut Repertory Theater. I'm staying busy. We have some auditions coming up this week, so just, you know, cross your fingers for me.
Fingers crossed.
But other than that, I was just on an HBO comedy show that I can't say the name of it yet, but that should be coming out sometime.
You know it's legit when you can't talk about it yet.
Baby, you know, come on, NDA. I'm working. I'm staying active. I'm writing and submitting myself. So we'll see. Good things are coming. I'm happy.
And where can people find you on socials, online, if you want them to? Yeah,
for sure. You can follow me on Instagram at Love Evolves. It's spelled LOVEVOLVZ. You can also just type in my name, Loren F. Walker, and you'll find me. Yeah, and I'll put all that in the episode description for everyone, the links and stuff like that. Awesome. Yay, thank you so much. I love you so much. Love you. Keep on thriving, please. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much for checking out today's episode. It was a very, very special one to me, so I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did and you liked it and you made it this far, please leave a rate or review on the podcast wherever you listen. It really, really does make a very big difference in helping getting this podcast out there. And of course, if you want to find me on social media, I am at Josh Wadham. That is JoshWadam on all the socials. Find me there. I love talking with y'all and chatting with y'all in the DMs and in the comments. I can't wait to bring you guys the next episode. So until then, I will see you later. And as always, keep sweet.